The thoughts and views expressed in the following are solely the views of the individual speaking and in no way reflect the Alexandra Park Community Center, Alexandra Park Residents Association Board, Alexandra Park residents, or community members. Due to possible content and coarse language, viewers' discretion is advised.
Yeah. Hot diggity dog, they say the boy back. Grown man playing no games, no time for holdbacks. Cold raps, word to my city, the way the cold slaps. No last bang has been making them such a cold fact. It's funny, like, I thought I knew how to use the owl, or well, I didn't even really inspect how to use the owl. But yesterday we had a meeting, and during the meeting, the dude who was doing the audio, the tech for the meeting was like, yo, does the owl have to follow people around, and can I aim it? I'm like, I don't know. I think it just sits and hits me up mid-meeting. He's like, yo, I found the setting. You download the app and da-da-da-da. I'm like,
oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, like, you can have it. So, like, if you want just to stay on you, you can have it. It's pretty much, and it makes sense. You take it off automation, and you just set it to manual, and then you manually adjust the camera to where you want it to
makes sense.
Focus on, right?
Honestly, for equipment that's like $500, it should have that feature.
Right? It should. It should. I just know I just never took the patience to actually look into it and study it. You know what I mean? With that being said, I know you're a busy person, so I ain't gonna hold you. What time do you got to get out of here anyways, by the way, just so I can be conscious of time and things?
Yeah, like, but if it's 1:30, it'd be good.
Okay, all right, cool. Average interview time is about
an hour?
Honestly, about an hour, 20 minutes to yesterday, Affy was like 2 hours.
If it goes longer, it goes longer.
Right?
It's okay.
But
I'll figure it out.
It's kind of how the conversation goes, and the time goes faster than anticipated sometimes.
Right.
But the official intro, of course, it's your boy Oso, in case you ain't know, so Rhymes Oso the some, but Oso the most. I am your host for the Culture on Culture. Let's Start This Conversation podcast. And today I got a special guest with me. They all special guests. That's why they're on the platform. But I call him Brother Labib. Welcome to the platform, please. I don't have your track record or history to really get you a whole thing, but I must say and will say that since coming back to work here in the community and at the community center, you're one of the initial peoples that I got to work with and meet. And my impression of you, I have a lot of respect simply because of how young you are and how much you've involved yourself in the community at the pace that you have. And not only that, the multitude of opportunities you present to not just your peers, but the community in general. And that I just want to start off by commending you for that. That I do see that, I acknowledge it, and I think that's something you should be extremely proud of.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I do remember actually around probably around the time where I first met you at the center. Remember Mohsen was like, "Hey, this is also a longtime community member." I remember that day. Yeah.
Seems like it doesn't seem like that long ago, but at the same time, that was a while ago still.
Yeah.
What era did you or when did you come into the community? Like, were you born here or did you move here?
Yeah, so I think I was born actually, like, technically at Regent Park.
Listen, that is I was born in Regent, and then about 6 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
They needed a bigger house.
There you go.
Alexandra Park had bigger houses.
Same story.
To Alexandra Park.
I was 2 months.
Okay.
So 2 months in, this is what my mom says, like 2 months in, then they gave us a house at Alexandra Park. Pretty much been here since.
Got you.
And then first moved, it was during the first phase of the redevelopment down Vanali Walk, but like all the way at the south side, closer to the, I guess the 20 Vanali building is still there, but it would be like just in front of that.
Gotcha. Like the Vanali Court part.
Yeah, around that
Okay,
area.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I used to live. I started at 180 Vanali Walk, and then we
yeah.
moved down to 42 Vanali Court,
Okay,
and I
okay.
lived at 42 Vanali Court until finally my mom moved out of the area, and
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and now it's just not there no more. It's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, sometimes I think like I wish I took some pictures
Man.
before they actually. I was like,
So
yes, my childhood's gone.
I say it all the time. Like I was in the era where we did not light cameras. We didn't take
Yeah,
pictures. You
yeah.
couldn't come around with a camera or whatnot. And I'm kind of regretful of that because, like, for example, like the pit. I talk about the pit, and some people don't even remember
Right.
what the pit was or what I'm talking about. And some people are like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We used to play hockey in there. We used to hang out there, whatever. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's just gone now. And there's no real memory of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
I know, and I don't ever really see pictures of it either.
No,
Yeah.
I'll see pictures of all kind of other parts of the
Yeah,
community,
yeah.
but the
Not-
pit. But it kind of just goes to show the time frame and the element that was kind of around there. That was kind of like a no camera zone in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, like in general, like the community is kind of like gated in that sense, or
Mhm.
like you come in and it's just like it's a whole neighborhood inside. And if you don't live there, you're not gonna really know. It's different now.
Mhm.
I mean, but like I would say before the redevelopment, it was like you know a lot of people like people that I went to school with didn't even know that there was like this community in downtown Toronto, right at Chinatown. Because when you go around the main streets, it's just like, oh, you just see like the main house on
Mhm.
Dundas, big black gates. That's it. You don't realize you go in, you're like, holy, it's an entire
It's a
community
whole
here.
community,
Yeah.
exactly. A bunch of houses, a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up because that's one of the like it's. I always say everything has its good, its bad, its bitter, and
Yeah.
its sweet,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And that's one of the things with this redevelopment is it's great to see the new buildings go up. It's great to see the refresh and the new energy brought into it. But part of me is sad because as much of a hindrance as it was that it was isolated and kind of boxed in with itself, it's kind of what made Alexandra Park what it was.
100%. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it was so self-contained. We were so self-sufficient. You kind of, you walk. There's no driving through, so you kind of just
No.
walk through wherever.
I actually
it's
missed
kind
that
of
too.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
free roam. You don't open your door and it's a street right there. Whereas now, like if you're on Paul Lane, you open your door, it's just through traffic. Augusta's just through traffic.
Exactly.
Great. It's a completely different feel. It kind of feels more. I don't want to say isolated, but separated in a sense. Like
Yeah, yeah, and I know like there's like different reasons why that they did that as well, and
Mhm.
like I think some of the stuff I've heard around like improving like safety, for example, like having areas where you know less areas where it's like hidden. But no, you're right. It kind of gave like AP its identity as well. Also, like my childhood growing up here, really appreciated. I really appreciated the fact that like there was no cars, and you like in front of my house is just like a huge like, um, you know, um, like walkway, and then like on both sides you have houses, but like essentially like like it was like 15, 20 of us that like grew up together and were just like playing random sports every single day, making up games. And it's like if we had like a street right or cars right in front of us, like we would have to essentially go find some other place, you know.
And like I remember, before I moved on to Finale Court, I had friends who lived all around Finale Court there, and whatnot. But one of the main things was we play hockey there.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? You bring out the decks, you play hockey in that whole space in front of the houses, and some of the neighbors were cool where they'd sit out there and they'd watch and
Yeah,
they'd be
exactly.
spectating the stuff, and like it was just cool. And if it on Venali Street in front of 20 Venali, sometimes we play football there or whatnot. But when a car is coming in and going into the parking or whatnot, now you got to stop, come off there. And the safety was a bit of an issue. So having those areas in the community where you can
That's right.
play some type of activity with your friends and whatnot was cool. Um, I definitely do remember. So in growing up in the 80s and 90s in the community, I do understand why the mission was to kind of break things down and open it up and make it more visible for the safety aspect of it. Um, and it's unfortunate that's what ended up being the case, because prior to that, it really did thrive on the community aspect,
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
when you talk to some of the residents prior to myself who were there in the 60s and 70s
Mm.
and early 80s, before the crack and all of that epidemic really took hold of it. Like,
Mm.
doors were open, neighbors flowed
Yeah.
through freely and whatnot. People just played out in the whatnot. Was there still some issues? Of course, there's always issues in every time frame, every era, and whatnot. But the community feel really thrived. And then when the drug era hit, it took a very big hit on the community as well, and changed things irreparably. But it's
Yeah.
good to see that the community still holds on to that neighborly vibe for the most part,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I think it's um, like I think about it often too. It's how how close knit our community is,
Mm-hmm.
and how much people like strongly advocate for their community, and how blessed we are to be in that position too. Like so many people I grew up with, like not obvious, not from AP, and like, like there's no, they don't really have, their identity isn't necessarily attached to their community. Maybe it's like to their like broader Toronto or Canada or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, like to say like I'm from this community, like that's not really, sometimes it's not, it doesn't show as much.
Yeah.
And like for me that was like huge part of my identity. It's like, I'm from AP, so all my friends are like, so
Yeah.
I go like, to join programs and stuff like that. And I
Mm.
feel like everybody should have something like that.
Absolutely. I know that we recently did the 50th anniversary celebration, and those type of things always like floor me,
Yeah.
because like Olivia Chow was in the building, Adam Vaughn was in the building, Chris Glover was in the building, Osman Malik was in the building. There was just a bunch of people that were in the building, speaking about their their times tied to the community,
Yeah.
right? And um, there's a lot of, which is why the slogan is roots runs deep. There's a lot of history that comes out of the Alexandra Park community, um, from the sports like lacrosse and whatnot, and the different athletes and the notable people that have. And part of it is the proximity with Kensington Market,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
fact that Kensington Market has always been a hub for any culturally backed people that come to Toronto, right? To get a little taste of home and find some of the spices and the groceries they're used to and whatnot, right? Um,
And I think that's where, sorry to cut you
no,
off.
you're good. You're
I
good.
think like that's where the size of the community really, like kind of supported that as well. The like the close knit of it as
Mm-hmm.
well. Because sometimes, like other community, like Regent Park, like often people get compare that to Alexandra Park. But I feel like, in a sense, we're like it, people know each other a lot more because of this, because the community isn't like necessarily that big, in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sense
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
It isn't overly dense.
yeah, exactly. And then it's just easier to like get things done as well, I feel like.
Mm.
And like community members come together and they're like they advocating for certain changes. There's like less, I feel like, steps and bureaucracy that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of because of like how you can say, close knit, gated,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever we wanna say. But I think that actually helped us a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. Part of it is me being hopeful that we won't lose that with this revitalization. Once
Yeah.
these new building construction and the new community center comes in, hopefully we can still maintain that togetherness. It's just, it would be dishonest to not highlight and speak about the fact that the way that it was actually constructed and nestled in behind everything
Yeah,
is kind of
sure.
what fostered that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Another thing that about this community that in growing up I've appreciated and loved over the years is the diversity of it. And it's one thing to have neighbors from different cultures all around you and whatnot, but to be in that type of proximity, in that type of community family type setting, and to have um, one of my friends being Vietnamese, another one being Chinese, another one being,
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean, from Russia, another one being Polish, and then this one's Portuguese. Like everywhere is right in the same. Never even my
Yeah.
community. We're in the same classroom,
Yeah, yeah,
right, and we're
exactly.
going through grades together and growing up, and
Siblings, in the same school as well, and everybody knows each other.
right, it's a commonality where it's like, yeah, your background is what it is, but we went through this together. We all
Exactly,
lived
yeah.
and experienced these similar type things.
That's really special if you
Mhm.
think about it. Like the fact that majority of the kids here would have gone to Ryerson Public School as well.
Mhm.
So you just have like a whole community of kids essentially growing up together, going to school together,
Mhm.
parents dropping them off, and then like just getting to know each other indirectly as well.
Mhm.
Like can't even tell like how many like we're like, oh, you're this person, but you're the sibling of this person. Everybody
Mhm.
kind of just knows each other, even though like doesn't may not necessarily have like spoken to you before.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like that's I think that's what makes AP special.
Yeah, 'cause I know in coming back to do programming here, there's certain youth that was in the program. It's like, hold on, wait, who's your mom?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I went to school with your. Okay, cool. And now, like, I feel a different obligation to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm looking out for that said person or going above and beyond because, yeah, I was you. We were running around here and whatnot, and I know such and such, and we grew up together and we're close. So you're good. Don't worry. I'll make sure you're good. I'll make sure you're taken care of, and that type of
Hmm.
energy just reciprocates. Even when we're speaking about the two organizations, because you're over at Skadden, I'm here in Alexandra Park, and that bridge has kind of always been there through
Yeah.
Donna Harold in the years past, more currently through Mosin and Herman and their relationship. We're also two people who grew up in the community together and
Yeah.
learned and benefited from each other and whatnot. And you know that type of energy just thrives. I was gonna say earlier, I thought back to Adam Vaughn saying, and I remember there's a clip of it. It's online or whatnot where he's in council and he's like, yeah, like more communities need a little bit of Alexandra Park. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that nature and that vibe. And even in going through that, like there's a lot of different initiatives and stuff that have come out of this community and branched off into others.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And no, this isn't me trying to just big up Alexandra Park and poo poo on everybody else. I'm just saying I'm very proud of Alexandra Park and the things that we do and the people that we nurture.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, 100%. And I think as we move on to the redevelopment and newer houses and newer phases,
Mhm.
like it's actually more important now that like we utilize like the community centers to like reach out to the young people and keep that like social cohesion
Mhm.
between scatting, between AP, between even like youth that feel like they want to branch off and like do their own things as well. Like I know like the MDZ group for example,
Mhm.
or just like what like we're very passionate about this and. We want to bring like new opportunities to youth and might not necessarily have the time to like get acclimated into the structures of like the centers and but it doesn't matter just we can go find support from them, support from other sources of funding and do something for the community.
Absolutely. The ingenuity.
Yes, that's like I love like I think that's like very important in terms of like keeping the togetherness of the community is like maintain like um, uh, creating those opportunities for young people and everyone as well in the community, but just making sure that we still provide ways for people to be involved. Yeah.
So for yourself, what is it that stirred you? Or how did you end up in this field and doing this community work?
Yeah. So I would say mostly, well, one is the nature of the community being so close knit, and that's probably what got my dad involved too. And I know, like, my dad in general is just someone that's very,
Shout out to Abilis.
yeah, he likes to be part of the community. Yeah, and that's where I got it from. Like, so, like all of these like social events that he would be a part of and supporting when I was a kid. So just growing up here and like going to all these like different picnics and events hosted by the center, and like it was an opportunity for like my dad, I guess, one to get to know the people of his community, feel like, you know, cause create this home for himself here too, coming from Bangladesh, and yeah, in that way, I guess I also developed like a sense of like belonging. So I'm just like, yeah, this is my community, you know. And then I think the amazing thing about living here is one that you get to see the same people like every day, you know, like when you're more isolated communities or even just communities in general, like usually like the average experience is people go out, do their thing, go to school, and then go home. Like, they don't even know their neighbors or anything like that. So here I'm in an environment where like I know my neighbors. I go with like the same set of like, you know, 10 kids to school, come back. These guys are like coming home literally right beside me, you know. And then like I'm going to all these like events with my dad, and just, you know, celebrating like different cultures and everything. And then so like created like a sense of like belonging. So then I was like, you know, like when one of my friends early on, they were like, there's this ball hockey program at Scatting Court, you know, it's just like, just go and play over there. And I was like, yeah, why don't you go and join him then, you know? And then there you go, like I'm playing ball hockey now, you know, or sport. I never even like, wouldn't even cross my mind like play hockey, like, you know. But
Herman Mosin, it's still working. It's still working.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, you know, suddenly like Scatting's my home, APCC's my home, you know, just generally like the wider Alexandra Park, Ryerson, like all the school sports that I used to join. And then so then naturally I'm like, okay, you know, when you face challenges in life, there are places or people that you go to. So, you know, your parents, your loved ones, whatever. But then, you know, for example, like first challenges, be like, oh, I need some experience, or, you know, like, oh, these kids are doing such amazing things with their time. Like, I want to be part of this. So how do I do it? It's like, well, naturally, it'll come to my mind. Well, let me just go to the community that I'm a part of, you know, that's supported me. So yeah, you know, suddenly I'm volunteering at events, getting to know staff. Now I need my first job. So then, you know, at that time it was, I think William Mendez is the TCHC staff. I was working in the community, and I'm just like, you know, I need a job. And then I remember, like, you know, they'd take me to like youth employment services, get my resume ready, get a job as an animator. So it's like, now I have my first job here. So, you know, it's like when you feel supported by your community, you gain so much from it. You're like, well, if I have anything that I need in my life, I'm just gonna continue to, you know, reach out to the place that's been supporting me, you know. So like my first job, I want to run a program, like the gaming program, for example, and I see opportunity to like get like a small grants, like $2,000. I'm like, okay, this is like a cool idea, you know. I mean, maybe, you know, it's not necessarily a business, but like, you know, when you have like a cool project that you want to run, see how it goes, like you can find the support through here. I was in university, I needed some money to pay off for tuition. So I got a job scatting court, like doing for the kids basketball program. So it's like slowly and slowly, just being more involved in the community, gaining so much from it. That's why I feel so. I don't know if indebted is the right word, but like it's like the sense of responsibility. It's like I gained so much from here that like I want to I understand the value of a community. You know, when some that saying there's this saying that I don't know how the exact wording, but it's like something about when you're raising a kid that it's like something about village and
It takes a village.
takes a village to raise a kid. Yeah, like I don't know if like I internalized that where I'm just like, okay, you know, like this, like from my context it's like, oh, when I hear a phrase like that, I'm like, that's my childhood. You know, like that's what it means. You know,
I got you.
when for friends, for support, you know, like this is like for just overall well-being, just like getting to knowing your neighbors. Imagine just going home and you don't even know your neighbors, like, and the different feeling you would have if you're going home and you actually do know your neighbor, you know. So yeah, and then in a sense of like, how do I think essentially every child should have some experience like this, or they feel like they belong in the community, they can feel supported by the community. So I just want to continue that essentially. So that's my thing.
There's so much of what you said that I love and I want to highlight. One of the things is a lot of this snowballed based off of your initiative. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that like you were kind of sitting there and it was you were approached with it outside of inviting you to go play some ball hockey at scatting or whatnot. A lot of it was like, you know what, I have this issue. Let me go and ask this. Let me go and seek this out. And part of the reason that's important is like when I was sitting here and I was talking with Afi for the previous episode, one of the things I commended him on is like, dude, you love to ask questions, and I love that about you.
Yeah.
Like you're not afraid to ask a question if you're curious about something. There's no embarrassment, there's no ego with it. You just ask the question, and that'll open a lot of doors for you. The other thing is being willing and wanting to be involved.
Yeah.
Right? Because based off of that, you find out about different opportunities. And not only do you find out about different opportunities, the people in these organizations get to know who you are as a person and character. They figure out what your interests are. And now that I know your interests, if a grant or somebody mentions something comes up, it's like, oh, you know what? I was just talking to so-and-so the other day, and they mentioned something. Let me try and connect you to, and all of a sudden there's a new avenue that's open for somebody, right?
That's like probably like, in my opinion, the best employment advice you could give for people that are struggling right now. Like, oh, I need a job, I need experience. It's so hard to, you know, and obviously it is. It's very, very hard to like get a job these days, especially in the field that you're interested in. But what you just said, it's like, and I always tell my youth as well, it's like, just get involved, like volunteer. Like I know it's like, okay, if people hear volunteer, they're just like, oh, I want to come in and no money. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, this is what networking is. So you come in, you volunteer. One, you have to have like an intention to help your community too. Like I don't want to, like, it shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm doing it just for, you know, to eventually get, I don't know, money or whatever. Okay, could be one of your reasons, but like your intention actually matters too. So it's like, okay, I'm out here, I want to gain this experience, I want to better my community in this sense, or you know, maybe I'm out here developing my skill set so that I can further help out the community. Like, you know, like how you approach it matters always to me. And
that's why you're you, B. That's why you're you, because you articulated that perfectly, and that's kind of what I was trying to hint at is your intent will show.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
That's right. And then everything that you mentioned will come after. So then it'd be like, you know what? Like, exactly. Like, me and you, like, we're working at, like, in this position where we're getting so many different opportunities coming at us. And it's like, when we're connected to youth because they made the effort to come out, reach out, suddenly it's like, hey, you know, it could be simple as, like, I have tickets and I just thought of you, you know? Or it could be like some grant money, for example, and you're, like, talking about some entrepreneurship idea or whatever you wanted to run, right? But it's like, it's because you were involved. You also, the intention, it really shows. For example, there are volunteers that I have where it's like they're out here engaging with the participants, the kids, like they're giving that they're all, you know, they need 40 hours for school and they're like, well, I only came in like 3 hours, so I need to like I'm out here like already at the mindset, I'm going to just give you 40 even if you don't get the 40. Yeah. But like there are some kids that'll just be, they're so honest, they're just like, you know, I'm here to like actually like gain something from this. And that, sometimes the youth think that like we don't see it, but we see it. We see people that are like, you know, and then when we have future opportunities, guess who's gonna be called out first?
All the time. I'll say it again. I'll say it over and over again. My favorite saying is always work like somebody's watching, because somebody normally is.
Exactly.
For me, I'm watching myself, and that's
right.
the person I keep in mind. But
That's right.
like you said, from a distance, I'm watching. I'm seeing like when I'm done an event, the person who's like, yo, can I do this? All right, cool. Yeah, no problem. You can help me do this. All right, cool. You need anything else? And it stands out. So now when there's an opportunity, yeah, you're going to be first in mind for that. The other thing to circle back on intent is if your intent is like, so I feel, I'm not going to say this is a stat. I'm not going to say this is certain, but I feel there's a lot of people who choose their degrees or their professions or what they're going to study based off the money, right? Versus are they actually a lot of us, because and without delving too deep into that, I believe as a society we're kind of trained to think that way.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not trained to think of what do I personally like and how do I get better at that and improve myself at that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if that is the main thing, this is what, like you talked about wanting to be involved in the community and that being the main thing and improving yourself, that'll always steer you to a place where you will be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel it's very important for folks to understand that, like, when your intent is genuine and you put in the genuine effort, you will be rewarded accordingly for that.
Exactly. Yeah, I 100% believe that. Yeah. And like like you mentioned, like figuring out like what you want to do, that comes from putting yourself out there as well. Like I'll tell you, like I didn't know what I wanted to do, like when I was after like high school, for example, and then I was like, you know what, like, my science marks are good, so I'm just gonna, like, you know, like this is literally like the level of thinking I was like my, in terms of my grades, my highest marks are like in biology, chemistry, so I'm just gonna go into life science and get good marks and whatever. We'll see how it goes from there. Maybe become a doctor one day or something. You know, but then I realized, like, no, it's not working out. Like first year in, it's not so much how hard it was more it was so much work. I wasn't taking in the information. Like, you know, when you go to school, like, you would think, like, I'm here to learn something, you know, and then to be able to use that and gain, like increase my knowledge and then essentially be more valuable in this and contributing to this field. And I'm just like, this is way too much, and I feel like I'm just like pumping out assignments and whatever, like memorizing a whole bunch and then just forgetting it the next day. So I'm like, okay, let me just switch to 4 courses a year, you know, and then I'll just take a course in the summer. So like, my idea is like I'm gonna have more time to actually learn the material that I'm taking in. Then I'm like, okay, this is becoming a little too much too. Even 4 is too much. Let me do 3. And then so the next semester I took 3, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take 2 courses in the summer. Or even if I have to take a little bit extra longer, I'll do that. But then after that, I'm like, maybe it's not just science. I'm like, I need to search up something else, you know, like so I'm like switching courses to like psychology, like computer science, and just trying to find. And I always like, for me, doing like that was valuable because one, like I wasn't afraid of making these changes. And me exposing myself to all of these things actually showed me like what I'm actually more interested in. Exactly. So like I always tell people too, it's like you don't have to be locked into to whatever, just like try to put yourself out there, and it is work. Like you're gonna have to like lose some time here, wake up earlier, whatever the sacrifice you need to make is. But like it's gonna be some sacrifice, but it's gonna be a lot better for you. It's like you're gonna end up finding out like what you really want to focus on, and then maybe you go do it and you're just like this isn't it either, and then it's fine, but at
least now you know.
Yeah, exactly, at least now you know. So I think that's part of being genuine. So I think that's the point I was trying to make, is that you're okay with being wrong and in terms of the path that like you're taking, and just be like, you know what, like this is not working out, I don't feel good, so I'm gonna try something else, rather than feel like, no, like I need money, I need this. I mean, obviously all those things matter to parental pressure or whatever, but you have to be able to be willing to change as well internally, just for your own self.
Again, man, that's why I hear you, man. There's so many things that you said there that I'd like to unpack. One of the main things that, in speaking about it, is not being afraid to put yourself out there. So many of us let fear hold us back from stuff,
Right.
and when you push past that fear and you actually try it, you realize, one, there was nothing really to be afraid of.
Yeah.
And then two, you learn so much more about yourself. And sometimes it is like you said, you learn and you're like, you know what, I like this, but this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Exactly.
Because now at least you know it, and the person that you're supposed to benefit is you anyways. So
that's right.
It's very important. Or you might stumble upon something and be like, you know what, I really like this. And then the hours spent behind it don't feel as bad.
It's all part of the journey. You can fail like a million times, and then you're just like, oh, it's not working out. And then like, I really tried this. I really went into it, and it just didn't work out. I'm trying something else, But like, or like someone that's like starting like, for example, like a business, like a youth, for example, and they're going through all these steps. And in my head, I'm just thinking like, I don't know if this is like the right path you should be taking, or whatever. Like, I don't know, like if you want to promote it this way, but maybe if I'm in a position where I can give constructive criticism, I will. But majority of the time, I'm like, actually, you should figure it out, And then if you fail a million times, that's actually, and then you get it the last time. That was part of the process.
1,000%. And the other part of that is like, I don't mind trying to assist you in achieving your vision, but that's about all I can do. It's your vision. I don't see what you see.
Exactly.
And because it's what you see, you kind of have, you have to be the one to see it through. Because nobody else is going to see it the same way. Nobody else is going to envision it the same way.
That's right.
Right? It's a scary, but it's a beautiful thing when you understand that you hold the power to all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And all those opportunities will essentially come out of like nowhere, and you won't even know.
Well, it's funny because now as I'm older, I understand what speaking things and manifesting really is, and how real it really is. It's made to seem like it's this mythical, magical thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. And
it's like also when like people interview like millionaires or people that are like super successful, and like, what did you do? And everybody's trying to find that like one little like secret, like, oh yeah, you just have to like invest in this one place.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like they put in like a bunch of work beforehand, and then something came across them because they were in that position, and they took the opportunity. So I'm out here like, like I'm trying to find my path, whatever, and it's not working out. I'm like switching. I even went to property management at one point, just trying to figure out my path, and then all of a sudden Mosin's like, hey, there's a position 20 hours a week, whatever. I can sit here and be like, oh, I got super lucky, and I did. But at the same time, I was putting myself in positions where like he would approach me in that way, and then for everybody it'd be different.
Well, I mean, two things can be true. Luck is always involved.
Yeah.
There's like I don't get where I'm at without luck being involved. You know what I mean? But I was also, as you mentioned, prepared, and I was prepared because even before I knew that was an option, I was working towards it.
Yeah.
Right. And that is one of the things. So we're both in this youth workspace and whatnot, and that's one of the things I'm trying to relate to my mentorship group, my young boys and them, and any youth that I come across is like, don't be too focused on the end goal or whatnot. Try and stay present in the moment and learn as much as you can. Be curious, ask questions, listen to especially folks who've gone through and experienced things. Listen to what they're trying to share with you. They're not trying to. In most cases, it's not somebody trying to hinder you or poo-poo on your idea or whatnot. Sometimes it's their fear being projected on you, so you gotta be careful of that.
Yeah.
But
that's where I think the intention really matters, because this is an exercise I did pretty much my entire life is. And this is how like I pretty much was able to stay on like a path when like other people would have like different ideas that they tell you, and maybe they're like discouraging you or whatever, right? Or maybe they're well intentioned, but it just maybe didn't like might not be the right advice for you. But what I'm trying to say is, you should always evaluate, in my opinion, like what is your ultimate you could say purpose, intention, in terms of the path that you're trying to take. So like for me, like for example, and I guess this is like more personally, I'd be like, okay, so I essentially like my like purpose, and sorry if I'm like getting it too like
no, you're good. You're good.
Personal or religious or anything, but like essentially like my purpose in life is to essentially worship and please God. So I'm just like, okay, I have that, okay, and then it's like, how do I go and do that? So then it's like, okay, well I have to one like live my life accordingly, but to be able to do that I have to utilize my own skill sets and my strengths. So I'm like, okay, so then I have to what is my skill sets, what are my strengths, so then I'm like, okay, so then how do I get about doing that? So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna put myself through this school, this opportunity, or this program, or whatever that you want to do. Like I want to, like, you envision yourself, I want to do like this business, I want to go to, or I want to be like going to like this program in university, or whatever your thing is. But essentially, like I always tied that into like that improving my skill set in order to essentially be the best version of myself. So like that was like my like my guiding like principle in order for me to be like the best like worshiper. So then like everything that I add in, it falls in line with that narrative, because then now you have something. Because like now, like when people say, for example, no, you shouldn't do this, or you should do that, or you should take this path or this path, that's fine, and I can take all those things, but it has to fall in within my narrative. So for example, if someone tells me like come hang out with me, and I'm like, you know what, but like this is where your path is going, or your life's going, or maybe what you're engaging in, for example, might lead me astray from my path, then it becomes easy for me to be like, okay, well, it's not part of my story, so maybe it's easier for me to say no. But if you don't have that, then it's just suddenly everything is like
The viable option.
viable options, hard to navigate. And you could be wrong. You could be like, hey, you know what? I thought this was my path, and I realized talking to someone that it isn't actually should be. That's fine, but I think you should always have some. Like, you should sit down with yourself and be like, this is the direction I'm taking, and then everything should feed to that direction. But the direction can change, but like you should have a direction at all times.
I love that you expressed that, and I love the way that you expressed that. And the reason why is because I often say I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person
Right.
for myself, and that's because the more that I've engaged and talked with people and studied or whatnot, I feel like they're all very similar and they're all guiding in the same fashion, right? Um, you put it as being the best worshiper. For me, I align myself with what serves me best in a sense, like, and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be, the best version of Oso that was put on this planet to be here.
Right.
Let me try and be that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if it doesn't align with helping me towards that,
That's your
I don't
yeah.
need to be involved with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's similar to exactly how you just described it. And it's simplified, as you said, it just simplifies things for you.
That's right.
Because it's not like it's nothing against you or what you want to do. This just doesn't serve me. I wish you all the best on your path in the same fashion. But for me and my path, I got to do this.
That's right. Yeah.
And our path line, okay, then maybe we can collaborate and
exactly.
I can assist you and you can assist me. And with that mentality, it's rare that I find conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And more often than not, I get overwhelmed with opportunities. Where it's
yeah. Right.
you know what? I really want to do that, but I can't because I still gotta do this. But maybe
Yeah.
even in those instances, it's still respectable, right? They're not looking at me in a sense of like, oh, this guy is. It's like, no, you know what? I fully understand, and as a matter of fact, I appreciate you being that forward and that honest. In the future, maybe, and in the future, the opportunities will come around again, and I've been able to be a part of it and whatnot.
Exactly. And it's like it goes from every small detail to like the big one. Like I remember for you something that like some I appreciate is like how health conscious you are. Yeah. But like
Try to be.
that's part of
Yeah.
what you were saying. Like, you're just like, okay, well, for me to be the best version of myself, I need to eat healthy, or like be health conscious. And then it's like, well, then how? Like I said, this is the hard part. It's like how how high do you want to be in terms of like your potential? And it's like, okay, well, like I can, everybody has different levels. Like maybe you should be exercising 3 times a week or whatever, if that's what you believe in, but you only do it once. Well, then there's levels. But yeah. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is like every small little detail to big decision all comes into your narrative of you want to be the best version of yourself.
And I love the saying, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
Right? And and speaking with Afi, I was talking about the fact that sometimes I gotta really analyze how much I care, how much I involve myself. Because if I'm choosing to involve myself, I can't do it halfway. You know what I mean? Or I just can't get involved at all. Right? And it's along those same lines because, even when I'm talking with some of these young boys and we're playing basketball and we're practicing, I'm like, don't joke practice. Like, if that's, like, one of them, I'm like, yo, stop practicing how to travel. Like, with your triple step back. Like, it looks good or whatnot, it's fun, but you can't do that in the actual game. You know what I mean? If you make your calls, call out screen. The things that you practice is the way that you're going to play the game. You don't practice certain things. That's why I can see what it is, right? So the way you do one thing is kind of the way you do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna ask. No, I will ask. So in terms of right now, I know you mentioned with ball hockey and whatnot, and there's the basketball program. But how have you found it engaging youth to be involved in programming and in the community and various activities and whatnot? Like I find if I got some honorarium or some gift cards,
Yeah,
it's easy. But if that isn't available,
yeah,
it's a little bit of a struggle. I kind of have to,
right,
like, I have to lean on the ones that I definitely got a relationship with, and I know, like, if I say, "Oh, come here on Wednesday," they're gonna come on Wednesday regardless of what's happening.
yeah,
But to get the newer youth involved and whatnot, I feel like it's a bit of a struggle. How have you um, been
yeah,
navigating that?
yeah. I think the best approach that I've seen is having a whole bunch of different programs or options for youth to engage in the community as being like the way to get youth to be involved, because it's a different approach than me reaching out to them. Obviously, I think okay, I'll talk about that part later, but essentially the default is that if we as the community centers and as a community offer a variety of different programs and do our job with promoting, because that's also a big part of it, how well you promote. um, but that is like the in my opinion, like the best way to get youth involved. So for example, like sports is a big thing because we have so many opportunities between the centers, especially scanning because of its gym too. So then, for example, like we have kids coming in because they want to like learn to play ball hockey or basketball, or they want to try out volleyball or badminton, and or boxing or all the different sports that we have. And then there's like for example, like employment programs or homework tutoring programs, like just essentially having all of these options so that the youth can be like, yeah, I can come to this place and either receive support or just like do something that I like and enjoy, like maybe I want to like have this idea and I need some money to start it up, and there's like opportunities like that. So I feel like that's like the like we should be working towards creating programs that youth are into in the community. So for example, every community is going to be different, and then like in terms of what they're interested in. And then uh, yeah, then the other approach is for those youth that are already less involved and not really that interested in like
Yeah.
coming out. So I think that's the difficult part in terms of
Yeah.
reaching out to them, showing them that there's so many different opportunities and resources here that you can benefit from. Um, yeah, that's a difficult question.
It's definitely tricky, but
Yeah,
definitely in backing up, shout out to the gaming program because I actually
yeah,
did end up reintroducing that.
yeah,
And through that, it did bring some youth in that I had known prior. Of course, it didn't help. It didn't hurt that I was making food for them as well. So they come in to get some food, play some video games, and whatnot, and take advantage of the gym space. So that did introduce me to some of the youth. So I guess that's still the tried and true way.
yeah. And I think, yeah, I think in terms of getting youth to just come into the space, that's probably one of the best ways. Is just creating an open environment where like there's no pressure. Like at least like few times a week, or you just come in. You can leave anytime you want. If there's snacks, it's even better. And then there's like video games or whatever, or tables set up, and it's something for like kids to do essentially like after school, because I know Sanderson Library's youth hub or youth drop-in is like they have their periods of ups and down, but like based off like the youth that that we work with, um, uh, they all know about it.
Yeah,
So
it's seeming more and more popular over the last
yeah,
few
exactly.
years.
And like their structure is pretty simple. It's just like they have this big room. They might have like couple games, snacks set up, and essentially you can just come. There's a period of time after school from like 3 to like 7 p.m. You just come in whenever you want, leave whenever you want, bring your friends, hang out. Um, that's it, and then essentially like that's what I wanted to create. You guys do here at the center with gaming program and other drop-ins. It's what I wanted to create at the youth lounge too at Scatting Core.
The youth lounge is huge because that's one of the things. Shout out to St. Stephen's and the Drug Free Arcade. That's one of the things, and shout out to Solomon, by the way. That's one of the things that in their model I absolutely love is they have a youth space that is a youth space.
Yeah.
Like they come in, they can eat some food, they can play some games, they can chill out, do homework, socialize, whatever it is, and it's a space that's specifically for them. It's not like part of the challenge here is there's one day, okay, cool, I might get to use the gym. Then, oh, sorry, this week we got a meeting booked, so you can't use the gym. You got to go to the middle room. Sorry, the middle room's used today. This is happening, this, that, so you got to go outside. Sorry, we don't. And it's a juggling act because it's such a small building. Whereas they're like, they know when they show up, which is sounded like what Sanderson has there. They know when they show up, this space here, they are welcome to. They can get comfortable. They know it's going to be theirs. Nobody's going to shift them out of it or whatnot.
Exactly. I think that's and if the programs itself didn't get youth to participate, I think that's the next best approach. It's like just have this space open pretty much like every day of the week if possible.
Possible, yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm looking around my office, and there's posters everywhere of all kind of hip hop and R&B artists and basketball players and whatnot from my era. How are you with media and social media and whatnot? How involved do you get? How disciplined are you? Or
It's a good question.
I gotta pose a question simply because I strongly feel that media has a very strong influence and more than we like to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
I have some thoughts on it. I think with social media, you're exposed to too much.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're just tying back into like finding your path, for example. Like before, it was like when I'm only exposed to like a few things at a time. So then I'm like, hey, you know what? Like maybe I don't like this as much. Maybe I like this one, so I'm gonna try this. This one didn't work out. I'm gonna try this. But then the problem is now it's like you're exposed to so many different things, and then you don't even know where to begin. And then when you try something and you don't like it, you have so many options. It's just like, you know what? Before maybe you might try something and actually try it, do it for a few months.
What was that native word? Stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah, right.
There isn't enough of that.
And to actually know if you like something or not. But then now you're just like, it's getting a little too hard. Boom, something else. And then essentially you're left with nothing. You're just left even more confused than you were before. So I think it's very important to limit how much you're getting exposed to. It actually changes your brain chemistry as well. Like looking at all these things, and I'm just like, now my opinion changed on this. So now I'm thinking about this. Now I'm getting mad for no reason. I'm just like,
Thinking through all the emotions in 10 minutes.
I would not even feel these things if I'm not looking at social media like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's very hard because nobody's who's gonna stop you. So you have to
police yourself.
Exactly. It's just the hardest thing ever. Tell a 14-year-old to go police himself when you give him a phone like that. I'm not doing that.
It's such a battle because again, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, the double-edged sword of it. Like there's so many benefits to social media and internet and online presence, but unpoliced and undisciplined, it's a scary place.
Exactly.
It is a very, very scary place. It's funny, they just the early hour program just finished up, so they just turned off all the lights. But no, like it can be such a scary, intimidating place, and
Yeah,
um,
exactly. I think it's like it's on you essentially.
it most definitely is, which is the scary and beautiful thing about it,
Yeah,
right? Because it shows you ultimately have that power.
that's right. It's like I wanna like you have to be intentional. Like I wanna use social media to specifically do like learn these skills or get information on this or
Mm.
whatever instead of just like, taking in everything.
Yeah, just you using it to pass the time,
Yeah, exactly.
which is quite often what, like, even myself, I get bored certain times, or some I'll get bored certain times. I'm like, let me look at my phone, and I realize
Yeah.
somebody sent me something on IG, and if I'm not prepared, there goes 30 minutes
There goes 30
before I even blink. Like,
Yeah.
damn, I was supposed to be doing this. What was I even? And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
caught up in a rabbit hole of whatever. But yeah, it's a balance.
I think it's destroying the next generation too, and even like people now. Yeah,
There's definitely there's, how do I want to say? I feel like social media was introduced to folks before there was any idea of what it really was, and furthermore, even how to handle it.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right? I don't think, like, before there used to be a trial period before it was introduced to the general public. We're in an age right now where it's ready, send it. Like, it, people will figure it out
Yeah,
as we go.
yeah,
We're in
exactly.
as we figure it out as we go type society. And that is what's dangerous about it, because especially when you're looking at the studies that they're with adults, with kids, and in between. What these interactions with social medias are actually. I was talking with Afi about a study clip of a study that I saw where they took people off of the Instagram and Facebook for a time period, and depression, anxiety, all of these
Yeah.
things just dropped,
Right.
because, as you said, you're not flooded with bad news, bad news, bad news, good news, good news, bad news, bad news. You're broke, you're poor, you're rich, you're this, you're that, you're this. The world's gonna end. The world's thriving. Be green, be
Right.
natural. The food industry is just, the drug industry. Like,
That's right. It's too much. It's too
I'm
much.
scared of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm gonna kind of pivot a little bit, because one of the things we worked on initially was Heartworks, and again, things by accident. I'm working on myself at the same point in time that I'm introduced to the program and asked to be a part of the Heartworks program.
Yeah.
And through that, a lot of the different workshops, a lot of the different speakers that were there helped me along that journey of discovering and working on myself. Was it similar for you, or were you kind of already on that path, and through that we're introducing myself and the youth to those avenues?
Yeah, I think I've definitely gained so much from it too. But when I was developing out the Heartworks program, essentially my goal was one, I knew that we had like sufficient resources to pay for enough staff to support the program. We had like honorariums, gifts, so like all of like the wraparound stuff was there. So it's like the program is well funded. So I'm like, okay, then how do I make this like a worthwhile experience for the youth in the neighborhood? And then essentially what we were talking about before, like my goal was to introduce as many possibilities out there to the youth, so that they can have an idea of what's out there, but also like what it takes to get there. So like I remember every week we were like finding facilitators between our team to like engineers, doctors, entrepreneurs, artists, whatever, right? And I just wanted like these youth to listen to them, because everybody's gonna have their own story of how they like got to where they are, but then there's gonna be similarities in terms of like resiliency, the opportunity, the positions they put themselves in, and like good habits that they developed in order to get to that position, even lifestyle choices, and like, because there's some things that are going to be similar in all of these things. One those are the similarities. And then two is like if they are specifically like interested in, because I remember we got a police officer one time, like they're like there's a youth there that wants to get into that, you know, feel that they would know, they can ask one, they'll provide an opportunity for you to learn about specific fields, because that was a big thing for me in high school. It's like I didn't even know all these like opportunities exist out there. What a day in the life is like. I know you can go search up on Google, YouTube, whatever. You don't hear it from someone like a real person. It's not the same. You know. So that was one, and then the second one, the main part, the goal was to kind of show them like how does someone get to these positions.
Again, that's why you're you, man. That's one of the reasons why I wanted this platform, is because I feel we've hit a state with society where we look at all of these different peoples, whether it's celebrities, whether it's public figures, and we look at them for answers, when it's like, nah, if you have conversations with enough folks within your community and with the people that you see on a day-to-day, you can learn a heck of a lot.
That's right. Yeah.
And the commonality is another big thing in understanding, like, the successful people weren't like, in a lot of cases they weren't focused on success, they were focused on improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
And found success along the path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're focused on improvement, focused on their goals, their intentions. Yeah.
And in a lot of those cases, you normally find that they are actually not only just intrigued, but they're I don't want to say anxious. I want to say eager to try and, like, oh, you want to be a police officer? Okay, well, this is the information, blah, 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 blah. Like, if I'm truly passionate, let's say I always say this, in another life, I'd be an electrician.
Okay.
Right? If I went back and did it over again, I would have stayed studying electronics. I would have been an electrician by trade, and that would have been my path. Simply because I love handy type work, and I know electrician type work. I can do that. I've done a bit of it here and there, and it's always been something like I enjoy. But with that being the case, I can talk about it forever. I have no problem speaking about that. But furthermore, like, I feel good about the fact that I've intrigued you in that path, and now you want to follow suit. Sure, this is the way. This is what I did. This is what I'm willing to feed. Versus at a different point in time, with what I was doing, I didn't want anybody around me, right? Because I didn't want to add that influence to them. I didn't want them to follow that path, right? And I think that's part of it, is when you're on your path and you're doing something that feels good to you, you want to share that feeling with other people. You want to not, and sometimes not necessarily saying you got to do exactly what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But in you working on you being your best self, these are the tools that help me keep that focus. And if you maintain that focus, you will also be your best self, and you can contribute to this world in ways you couldn't even fathom.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know more often with me, I guess I kind of share the moment with you, but more often with me, I get shocked and surprised at the things people are actually paying attention to, and the ways that I actually influence them that I had no idea that I was doing. Yeah.
It's how you make people feel rather than people remember how you make them feel rather than
what you did for them.
What you did for them. Yeah.
It's a rewarding field to be in. It's just, what do you consider the rewards?
Yeah.
That's kind of the question.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me see. What are we at now? We're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
All right.
We're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
I felt my phone buzz a few times, but I think let me see. It's just.
Just make sure you ain't missing anything in particular.
Oh, Issa called me like 4 times. It's okay. I'll get back to him.
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna hold you too much long, because I know you're a busy man. You're in high demand. You're always bouncing between the different centers and here and there, and the different roles that you do. But no, this conversation was in its concise form, it was dope because you highlight and the commonality sticks in. You hammer home some of the points that have been spoken throughout this podcast by various guests, whether it's Herman, whether it's Mosin, whether it's Shane, whether it was Nicholas or whatever. Like Trevor, keep the main thing, and keep that discipline about yourself and keep your focus. And you'll shock yourself when you look up and you look around. You're like, damn, I'm here.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely shock yourself, but more importantly, you'll be proud of yourself because you know you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brother Labib, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Also appreciate everything that you do. You're a pillar to the community. Keep doing. I really hope that we can continue to be in a position to support the community in whatever ways. Doesn't necessarily have to be in this role, but just very fortunate to be in this position.
Agreed. It's another wonderful episode of Culture on Culture. Let's start the conversation. Shout out to Brother Labib. Shout out to everybody who taps in and checks out the shorts, checks out the videos, who supports it. Appreciate love, y'all.
I hope this inspires other people to support their community in their own way as well. You know, you have your interest and you're supporting the community through ways that utilizes your own skill sets. I'm doing the same thing with mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other people might have other interests and skill sets, and they can support the community in their own way too. So I think that's the way we keep going with this.
Absolutely. Like I said, I didn't start this to make the perfect podcast. I just started this to kind of get a ball rolling. You know what I mean? And hopefully some folks pick it up and build on that momentum. Culture on Culture.
Right.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Hot diggity dog, they say the boy back. Grown man playing no games, no time for holdbacks. Cold raps, word to my city, the way the cold slaps. No last bang has been making them such a cold fact.